Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the new, you asked for it, we're giving it to you, Kissing Bandit t-shirt, only at teepublic.com/user/YoBroNation1. Come get the shirt before he comes for you, and you know what he'll do, get the t-shirt, only at the TeePublic store for YoBroNation, YoBroNation1 at teepublic.com. Get it before he kisses you. Really, seriously, go get it. Buy it. Welcome, Yo Bro Nation. I am Zachary with the Yo Bro Gaming and Review channel, and it is time for a new installment of the Retro Rewind. Today's a special one. Today is one that I wanted to do in the spirit of the WWE Survivor Series being this weekend. I wanted to go ahead and do a retro Survivor Series review. Excuse me if I have to pause for a second. My ear, it sounds a little funny. So, I don't know. I think I'm getting an ear infection or something. It's been bothering me. So, if I sound a little weird or like I'm grabbing at my ear, it's just the sound. It's like kind of a whistly sound. So, who knows what the issue is. I haven't had an ear infection in years. So, just bear with me. I think I'm kind of being sick. So, I'll work through it though, no biggie. So this was the 1995 WWF Survivor Series. Of course, this took place in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Air Arena. And this was brought to you by Karate Fighters. And I don't know of those of you who remember that game. I did play it as a kid. I loved the game. It was just a little thing, a little handheld game. Your characters could fight with each other. I think they even made a little like mobile game for it that was called Karate Fighters 2. I don't know which version was the sponsor of this show, but it was one of them. Of course, this took place on November 19th, 1995. Of course, yeah, in the nation's capital. The show started off with Mr. Perfect. He was being introduced. And then the actual opening of the show with the actual promo came. Nice little promo package featuring Bret Hart and Diesel, who were going to be the main event for the WWE Championship later in the night. You had Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, the commentator, Mr. Perfect, and Jim Ross on your commentary team. Hey, these three, they were pretty good. They weren't Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, or Bobby Heenan and Jesse Ventura level of good, or even Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan with Mike Tenay. They weren't that good as a team, but I did like Perfect and Ross's little banter back and forth, and Vince, being the play-by-play guy, not really actually calling moves by names, just, oh, look at that maneuver. I have a horrible Vince McMahon impression. But the night, it kicked off with the first match, which is the first of 4 Survivor Series matchups for the evening. It was the underdogs, Marty Jannetty, Bob Holly, Barry Horowitz, and Hakushi versus the Body Donnas, which was Skip, Tom Pritchard, Radford, say that 3 times fast, and the 1-2-3 Kid, who came out with Sonny and Ted DiBiase. The 1-2-3 Kid, who most of you probably better know as either Six or X-Pac, had just joined Ted DiBiase and his $1 million corporation just the week prior. So you had 1-2-3 Kid, who was new. Before the match could even start, you had Razor Ramon trying to come out, trying to get involved, trying to get his hands on him because he turned on him. But as far as the match, Jannetty was super quick. I had to stop and ask myself the question, though. Who is Radford? See, I can't even say his name. Radford. I want to say Robert Redford, but it's Radford. Kind of like a hard name to say, so I'm going to limit to either call him just Rad or Radford. Radford. I can't do it. It was a slow pace, except really when Marty Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid were in it. I'm going to go over the eliminations and kind of tell you what happens in between eliminations. So these matches could take a while to actually go over. Just saying, be prepared. God, it makes me worry about this Sunday, having to go through that whole show with all those matches. Oh my gosh, is anyone even excited for the Survivor Series this weekend? I mean, I'm just curious. Y'all can be honest with me. So, first, Bob Holly eliminates Tom Pritchard after a crossbody. Immediately afterwards, Skip jumps in the ring, hits Holly, and eliminates him with a schoolboy. So then Hakushi gets in there. He's picking up the pace. Dude's just flying around, jumping up the top rope, jumping over the ropes, all these cool freaking moves. And then him and the 1-2-3 Kid, they had great chemistry together. But Radford gets into the ring. He ends up eliminating Hakushi. He grabbed the tights. Barry Horowitz gets in. He's getting beat up. And everyone knows Barry Horowitz, the guy who never won, the #1 jobber ever in this company's history. Could never get a win. Finally got a win over Skip. And his momentum just kept building. Anyways, yeah, like I said, the biggest underdog ever. He was an okay wrestler, but he was definitely jobber material. Radford kept faking pins on Horowitz. Like I said, Skip got beat by him at the Survivor Series. Skip wanted to embarrass him. But Horowitz, ooh, I better be careful. Horowitz eliminated Radford after he was toying with him too much. Got a schoolboy on him. A small package, not a schoolboy. Got a small package on him and pinned him. So, you got Skip and Horowitz who had a stare down in exchange, but then the Kid got tagged in. He gave him a spinning heel kick and eliminated him, which left it to be 2-on-1 for Marty Jannetty. Everyone was behind Marty in this. For every bit of crap that people give Marty Jannetty for, not being the best wrestler after him and Shawn's breakup, he was still immensely popular at points in his career, especially at this time. This is around the time they actually, was kind of trying to push him a little bit, but, whatever. So Marty, he fought back. Sonny tried to get into the match. Skip goes to the top rope to try to do some sort of backdrop. Marty holds on, actually powerbombs Skip, gets him eliminated. So then you had the 1-2-3 Kid jump in. He just beat up on Marty. But when Marty got the advantage, here comes DiBiase with Sid. They actually distract the ref. Sid grabs Marty by the head, pulls him over the rope, clothesline or chokes him with the rope. He falls down. Kid gets the victory. 1-2-3. So the Body Donnas get the victory in this match, and they celebrated. You end up seeing Razor Ramon backstage, angry, throwing monitors and stuff. So then they cut to a promo with Yokozuna and Owen and Dean Douglas, where they're talking about how he's their partner. They still have a match tonight that he needs to get his head straight. Now, this isn't the only time you're going to have this interaction and this issue with Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid and the $1 Million Corporation. This will play into a factor later in the show. Here is a match with a bunch of names that I seriously just could not announce or say, and I'm going to do my best not to butcher these ladies' names, but this was a Women's Survivor Series elimination match. It was Alundra Blaze, at the time she was the Women's Champion, with Kyoko Inu. I'm sorry, I can't say their names, so I'm going to just say Kyoko. Saki Hasegawa and Shaparita Azara. I really suck at that. Then you had Bertha Faye. I know her name. With Harvey Whippleman. Aja Kong. Tomoko Watanabe. And the Lioness Asuka. It's spelled like Asuka, but it's spelled Asuka. Or it sounds like Asuka. Anyways, this match didn't get a whole ton of time. And really, seriously, for any of you purists who watch this and know their names, spare me. It's not easy to say their names. Please just spare me, please. I beg of you. So, Asuka, she gets in the ring with Asari, Asari, how do you say her name? Asari. We're going to call it Shaparita Asari. Anyways, she gets in there, just straight destroys this girl right off the bat. Then Blaze gets in the ring. She's looking pretty good. Asari gets, tagged in. Quick move. Jumps off the top rope, like, flips super quick and knocks this chick down. Then Alundra Blaze, she eliminates Asuka pretty quick with a German suplex. A snapping German. It was pretty nice. It was sweet. Like, I will never take away from Alundra Blaze how good she was at the time. It's just a shame she didn't stick around with that company for a couple more years. She could have probably been the best that division had whenever they brought the title back with Sable and everybody. But who knows? So Blaze gets, jumps to the outside. The pace is picking up. I mean, these women are doing good. Hasegawa, I'm really sucking at these names. Great suplexes on Aja Kong. Like, she's just like Northern Light suplexes on this chick. And this chick is not a small lady. If you look her up, she was not tiny in stature as far as her build. She was not small. But this woman was just tossing her over. Northern Light suplexes. I really am having a hard time talking. Northern Light suplexes repetitively. But then Aja Kong just kind of killed everything. So after a few of those suplexes, she hits a belly to back on Hasegawa, however I say it, eliminates her with the belly to back. Immediately, when Asari gets in the ring, she knocks her down, splashes her, eliminates her. Then Inaui, however you say her name, Kyoko Anawai. That's it, Anawai. But it's spelled weird. Anyways, she counters a victory roll, just falls on her, pins her for the 3 count, which leaves Alundra Blaze to be in a 3-on-1 situation. So they all try to get her. She's fighting them off. I'll get this. Watanabe she's going for a power bomb, but she can't get her up. So she just settles with the pile driver, gets a 3 count. She was supposed to pin her earlier, and I think she kicked out because you could see the frustration in Alundra Blaze's face. But she ends up eliminating her. Then Bertha Faye comes in, tries to attack her. Alundra Blaze moves. She ends up knocking down Aja Khan. So then Alundra Blaze grabs Bertha Faye from behind, German suplexes her, and then she gets the 3 count on her, eliminating her. So now it's back to just Aja Khan versus Alundra Blaze. Kondo just knocks this woman down. It was definitely like power versus speed. Blaze tries making her comeback, but Aja Khan's just like, nope, not going to happen. Knocks her back down. She kind of sets her up, and Alundra Blaze is trying to get up, and she just kind of does this roll through like chop, hits her right in the jaw, knocking her down. That ends that match. She gets the 3 count, wins for her team. They didn't actually say this was the Survivors match. They didn't even introduce the first team. They were already out there by the time the match started. Kind of ridiculous. So we get our first of 3 or 4 different segments with Bill Clinton. If you guys remember WrestleMania 10, they had a guy who was Bill Clinton. Really good impersonator, sounded like him, almost looked identical to him, wasn't really the president. So they kind of interviewed him. Nothing major. Oh, you enjoying the show? Bam Bam Bigelow's coming out there. They have this power, the pyro goes boom, and they're like all ducking, like, oh my God, the president! Oh, it's like, well, if you lived in my neighborhood, you'd understand. And they're like, oh, you okay, Mr. President? Oh, we'll send it back to you, Vince. So you can still hear him talking. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was funny. But it was really kind of ridiculous with the fake president. But this was only the first of many times you'd see him. So then they did. They had a one-on-one match. Bam Bam Bigelow, the wily veteran, versus a newcomer to the World Wrestling Federation in Goldust. This is pre-Marlena. This is where they're still kind of trying to figure him out. He wasn't as bad with the gay overtones that he was doing, later on. He was still pretty tame, but he still had this really vicious side to him. This match, there's not a whole bunch to say about it. It was very Goldust-centric. Goldust had control of Bigelow. There was only a few spots where Bigelow would get a little bit of offense in. He was both creepy and vicious. Like I said, he was violent despite the fact that he had the mic games. And these are just notes that I'm writing down. The match really starts with Goldust just striking him and then playing the mind games, getting out, teasing with Bigelow. Bigelow gets a little bit of momentum, goes for a corner splash. Goldust moves, hits him with a running bulldog, gets the 3 count. The match was a bunch of rest holds, headlocks, front chanceries, stuff like that. Really nothing big, no big spots. There were no big suplexes. Bigelow, like I said, literally had little to no offense. This was kind of if I could say there was one throwaway match that could have shaved off a little bit of time, it'd been this match. So more with Todd Pettengill and Mr. Bill Clinton. And Bob Backlund was there this time. And, Bill's all like, oh, I think you should run. And he's like, I want to ask you about the 8,000 employees. You one of the lazy ones? And then Vince corrects Bob Backlund to say it was actually 800,000, not 8,000. But, who cares? Fake president saying, oh, I think you should run. I'd be happy to run against you. I'm horrible with impressions in general. So this is my Bill Clinton. I did not sleep with that woman. See? Bad. I told y'all. I told you it was horrible. So, Team Dark Side, which consisted of The Undertaker, Savio Vega, Henry Godwinn, and Fatu, pre-Rikishi, versus The Royals, which was King Mabel. Y'all might know him as Big Daddy V. Jerry the King Lawler, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, pre-Triple H, and Isaac D. Yankem, DDS, which you also will know later on as Kane. Oh my goodness, I got a gap. I need to see a dentist. Things I noticed on camera. But this was a Survivor Series elimination match, and this whole thing starting back at the King of the Ring after Mabel beat him, and then the previous month before Survivor Series, Mabel pretty much puts him down with a leg drop, which ends up crushing Undertaker's face, which leaves him out for a month or so. Undertaker, he returns. We're in this creepy match. The match kicks off with Triple H, who was new to the WWE at this time, when he was still in his, blue blood gimmick that he kind of carried over from the WCW, and Rikishi, who's got long black hair that's all curly with the fro looking thing, and he's still wearing colorful colors, and that was Fatu. So, of course, a couple years later, he'd come as Rikishi Fatu after he'd have to have surgery. Nice little back and forth. There's a little feud going on with Henry Godwinn and Triple H. He tries to get in the ring. Triple H immediately tags out. He wasn't having none of it. Yankem comes in. He takes care of business with Godwinn. Then Triple H decides he wants to get in. This match, up till a certain point, was pretty much entirely just everyone but The Undertaker coming in, getting the moves. Even Mabel comes in, and he starts overpowering Savio Vega. Everyone got a little bit of offense in this match. Finally, Undertaker gets into the ring. Lawler tries to tag out when he gets in, and everyone's like, nope, ain't doing it. You ain't getting me to tag in, bro. Even Mabel's just like, turning his head if I ain't looking, it ain't real, it ain't real. Undertaker gets in there off the hot tag, picks up Lawler, tombstone. He's done. And Yankem jumps in. Hey, we get Undertaker and Kane before it was Kane. Woohoo! He gets in, attacks The Undertaker, gets a couple moves in. Undertaker just squats him off. Tombstone pile driver. He was finished. Helmsley gets in. Taker walks towards him. He's like, rolls out of the ring. He's like trying to slow down the pace. Goes to walk away. Here comes Henry Godwin with his bucket full of the muck and the nasty that he's got in it. And Helmsley's like, no. He gets onto the apron. Undertaker grabs him, picks him up over the ropes. Choke slam halfway across the ring. Pins him. 1, 2, 3. Undertaker eliminates Helmsley, which leaves just Mabel against all 4 members of the Dark Side. Mabel tries getting some offense in. Undertaker starts fighting back. Mabel just rolls out, gets away. Mo gets into the ring. Mabel runs off, gets himself counted out, so Team Darkside wins via countout. Then they just kind of beat up Mo real quick and knock him out. So there you go. Team Darkside wins this match. The Undertaker with that mask, I forgot how creepy he looked with it. It was like almost Phantom of the Opera-esque. It only covered from like here up with his hair down. It was just really creepy. And Undertaker, man, back in the day with that gimmick was like creepy, bro. Y'all probably think I'm half stupid sometimes with the way I talk. I swear. So they showed these little clips of promos with Diesel and Brett where they had to talk about the match that they're supposed to, one of them could have potentially with Bulldog at the following In Your House show, and about the match coming up tonight. Brett's like, look, Bulldog is tough. I'm not going to underestimate him, but I can't look past this. And Diesel just went to the fact that, hey, people say I can't do this because if this goes 20 minutes or more, I'm done. It's like, look, I'm just going to end it early. I'm going to use my powers. And he's like, this company's been running off of Diesel power for a year, doing pretty good. Like, you could see the shades of gray hitting with Diesel, who'd been a face up to this point. Very nice. So then we got, which transitions to an interview with Todd Pettengill, who I kind of missed the guy. He was at All In, but I miss him as a ring announcer and as an interviewer. Interviews Bulldog, Sid, Cornette, and DiBiase, who are talking about their team with this wild card match. Here comes Sean. And Ahmed's like, look, as long as we all get along, we win, everyone's happy. Now, Cornette was there earlier, but then this time was claiming, I wasn't here earlier. It's like, I've been Bulldog all day. He's playing both sides of it in this. Which leads us to the wild card match, our fourth and final of the Survivor Series elimination matches. Now, I can appreciate what the WWE used to do back in the day with the Survivor Series, mixing things up. You didn't just have 5-on-5. Of course, this whole night was 4-on-4. But the way they would mix up teams, the original few would be, whoever was the survivors from each of those would face each other later on. I liked the formats back then. I liked the formats even at this point. Survivor Series, now, not as good. It's like, you're probably going to hear me complaining a lot about Survivor Series come Sunday night, if not during the live stream. But, people were crapping on the company at this time, which I'll get to at the end of this review, because this was at this time, WWE was, it was the gimmick era taking place during the new generation build that they were, doing. Excuse me. So it wasn't a bad show, though. It was pretty good, but I'll get to it. A lot to go over in this match. A lot happened in this match. I'll fly through it as quick as I can, though. So you had Yokozuna, Owen Hart, Dean Douglas, who you all will mostly know as Shane Douglas, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, who is the Intercontinental Champion. They were taking on Shawn Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, Sid, Psycho Sid, and the British Bulldog, who had Ted DiBiase and Jim Cornette come out with them. Of course, like I said, though, Jim Cornette was playing both sides. This match was set up by Gorilla Monsoon, who at the time had just become interim president of the company. This was also Ahmed's first pay-per-view appearance. So the match starts with Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels, and it was fast-paced. They had really good chemistry together. They're flying around. Shawn's over the ropes. Very entertaining. Jim Cornette tries getting involved early. He got involved for both teams. He ends up getting hit with his little racket paddle on the butt by Shawn, who ends up knocking down Owen. Shawn almost pins Dean Douglas after he's tagged in with doing a standing moonsault off the top rope. Ahmed gets the hot tag. He comes in clearing out everything. The pace ends up slowing down. I hate the slow pace during these matches. I need a fast pace. These are long matches. I need a pace. I need the pace to keep going. So they basically kind of segregate. This kind of sounds bad. They cut off Ahmed Johnson. Razor even at one point, and they got Ahmed in the corner, everyone's hitting him, and the Razor just kind of joins in, like very heel moves. But I guess, you know, if you're on the team, you do what you got to do to win, right? So you join the team, do what you have to do. What I like about this match, though, is heels and faces teaming up to face heels and faces. Made for interesting dichotomy. It's very interesting. So Ahmed, you know, starts fighting back, gets the hot tag. Razor and Dean are starting to kind of go back and forth when Shawn Michaels is in the ring with with Dean Douglas. Shawn Michaels hits him with the super kick, rolls him up after Razor kind of punches him on the apron because he's in Razor's face, shoves Razor. Razor gets him on the apron. He's like, all right. Dean kind of goes up to him. He punches Dean. Shawn rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. Dean Douglas out of the match. First guy out. They treated Shane Douglas like garbage in that company. So then we get Owen and Bulldog having a stare down. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, the brother-in-laws. You know, these guys were, you know, friends and family and partners, etc., etc. And they kind of shove each other. And then they actually have a little bit of a back and forth. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. I'll keep my notes up here so I can look at it this way, right? Where was I? Oh, dear God. Y'all are like, dude. What would be better if I had, like, a teleprompter right here so I could just kind of look, or, like, right there. I could look at you guys or have my camera there. It'd be awesome. And that's what I'm working on. Right now I'm just working off of sheet paper. I look down. I read what I have to read. I look back up at you guys. Say what I have to say with my thoughts. Am I over-explaining? I don't know. Should I have to? No, not really. Let me look back at my notes. Okay, so yeah, they kind of fight until they tag out. So then you get Razor and Shawn Michaels in the ring. The crowd's popping, right? They're into this. Shawn teases getting out, but then they go at it. And these guys, of course, we already know they have awesome chemistry. The only problem was when they started to actually wrestle, the camera goes to a wide shot. So instead of seeing them going, you see nothing. You just see the crowd, the wide shot of the crowd. You see little dots kind of moving around. Ridiculous. However, they had great back and forth. You know, Razor at one point is trying to power up Shawn. He's got him. He gets him up. Up. Razor's edge. Goes for the pin. Bulldog breaks it up. Shawn kind of goes ahead and he tags Sid in. Sid turns with his back to him. Sid's like, oh, crap. So Sid gets in. He has some back and forth with Razor. Sid eventually, you know, tags Shawn in. He grabs Razor Ramon. He's holding him. He's like, get him. So Shawn's like, oh, okay. Shawn goes to give him a super kick. Razor ducks. Moves out of the way. Sid gets hit. And Shawn's just kind of like, Bull's like, do you not even care? And he's like, and he gets out of the ring. Razor goes to pin him. I don't know what happened. Bulldog goes to do a leg drop. Razor kind of moves, but kind of feels like he was hit. And Bulldog rolls out. Razor pins Sid again. Gets the 3 count. Sid's out of the match. So after that, Sid ends up powerbombing Shawn. Bulldog and everyone are starting to fight. Then they kind of, you know, cut Shawn off. You know, he's kind of finished out, not being able to do nothing. Everyone's taking turns on beating him up. Finally, he gets the hot tag to Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed comes in, cleans house, grabs Owen. Pearl River plunges him. 1, 2, 3. Owen Hart's out of the match. This ear's bugging me. Razor Ramon gets in the ring. He's fighting with Ahmed. Ahmed, you know, he gets the best of Razor. Poses in the corner. Razor picks him up. Boom! Razor's edge. Bulldog comes in, you know, because he got the blind tag. He attacks freaking Razor. Now here comes the 1, 2, 3 kids, Sid and Ted DiBiase, they come down. Razor's got the advantage at this point. They distract him by the kid getting up. He goes to attack, turns around, ends up getting a running power slam from Bulldog. 1, 2, 3. Now here's where things get a little interesting. It's now 3-on-1. It's the 600-pound Yokozuna versus the Bulldog, Ahmed Johnson, Shawn Michaels. Shawn's in the ring. Yoko's got advantage. He's beating him up. Now, mind you, Bulldog and Yokozuna are both represented by Jim Cornette. They're both on a trio together with Owen Hart. He goes for a bonsai drop. Shawn rolls out. Gets the hot tag to Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson comes in, picks him up, power slams Yokozuna. Crowd goes freaking crazy. Excuse me. This is like bugging me. So then, here comes the Bulldog, though, when he goes for the pin, attacks his own partner. Shawn jumps in. They're both like, what are you doing? They both punch him. He's in the ropes. They double clothesline him out of the ring. Yokozuna comes at him. Super kick. Then Ahmed Johnson does this big, runs off the ropes, comes back, big splash, gets the 3 count. Shawn Michaels, Bulldog, and Ahmed Johnson are the sole survivors for their team in this final match of this thing. Now, I know we do get heels and faces mixed together, but then they have this common goal, right? It's which brand's better, so they kind of put their differences to the side. This I liked because there was no real reason that they were put together other than just learn to work together, deal with it. I mean, you saw the issues. I loved the interaction with these teams and how they did it and everything. With Sid and Shawn. Just earlier in the year, Sid was powerbombing Shawn Michaels to death and putting him on the shelf after WrestleMania. Bulldog and Owen are brother-in-laws. They're partners. Along with Yokozuna. Now, they're on opposite sides. Then you have Jim Cornette trying to play both sides, trying to represent all his guys. All very interesting dynamics were in this match. It was like, easily, I give this match 3 stars. Because it was just that good. If I was to give it 3 stars or 7 out of 10, maybe about 6 out of 10, if I were to rate it. But it was main event time. We did have one more little segment with Bill, with Sonny sitting on his lap, and he was being really sexist. They were basically saying Bill Clinton's a pig. That's basically what this segment was. So there you go. Bill Clinton segment. Diesel and Bret Hart. Now, this was their 3rd match. Neither match had a decisive winner in the first 2 matchups. You also had Jim Ross and Mr. Perfect kind of picking their winners before the match started. This was a point where Diesel had been champion for almost a year. He was just a couple days shy of a year. Literally, like maybe 6 days or so, if I remember right. And he was, no pun intended, losing steam. Anyways, fans were starting to turn on him by this point. So Diesel and Bret, they come out, do their introductions. Diesel immediately starts untying the turnbuckle pad. So Bret's like, okay, screw it. I will too. You want to play like this? We'll play like this. So he starts undoing the turnbuckle pad. So you have 2 exposed turnbuckles, which do come into play later in the match. Immediately, Bret goes for the leg. Immediately starts trying to take out Diesel's leg. Diesel's like, no. He's fighting him off, and he just starts powering him. Diesel in this match. There was a story here. Bret, when he got the advantage, working on Diesel, trying to take out the leg, doing whatever he had to beat Diesel to prove that he was the best. Diesel, using his power and the fact that this was no disqualifications, no countouts, using that shit to his advantage. Slamming him into the ring post, slamming him into the guardrails, choking him out while he's outside the ring, using the cable cords. Everything you could possibly think of, these two were doing to each other. I lost my place here. Okay. Basically, though, Diesel, he dominated and he punished Bret for a good chunk of this match. Like I said, he used his power and the no DQ to his advantage. Diesel tried going for the jackknife at one point. This is where the tide starts to turn. Bret's grabbing his leg. He's holding. Diesel's still trying to lift him up, and Diesel's punching him in the back, and finally Brett, like, bites his hand, and he's like, ah, and then Brett finally starts getting the advantage. He's got him in the corner. He immediately goes for that leg, and he starts attacking. Brett was like a bulldog in this match. Brett gave no Fs. Brett was grabbing the chairs. He was tying up Diesel's ankles to the ring post. He was grabbing his leg and slamming it against the ring post. For a good 10 minutes, Diesel's leg was tied up to the ring post where he couldn't get away but maybe a little bit out of the corner. You know, Brett's putting him in a figure four with his legs outside. He's slamming his leg into the ring post, wrapping it around like, you know, it was pretty bad. Diesel's, you know, he's got Diesel back in the ring. He's got the chair. He's going to use it. Diesel's trying to kick at him. Diesel finally kicks him off. Brett hits his head against the ring post. Brett then decides that he's going to wrap his legs around the post. He slides away. Brett grabs his cord, ties up his ankle, which, like I said, leaves him stuck, you know, in that area where he can't get away. Diesel starts trying to hit him. Diesel takes his leg and just right over Brett's head. It looks like he actually hit Brett in the forehead. Brett hit Brett. Did I say Brett? Hits Brett in the forehead. Here, I'm going to take a quick swig because I've been talking for 30 plus minutes and already my throat's going. Oh, man, oh, man. Whew. I'm learning now, doing all this talking, what JD and others have said about talking for long periods of time really stresses out their throats. And I got more talking to do later. At the time of this recording, I got more talking to do. So they try getting the chair in. They're fighting over the chair. Brett gets the chair, and he just wallops him. He starts cracking him against the knee. You know, like I said, his ankle's tied to the post. Lots of back and forth. Diesel ultimately, though, is overpowering Brett. This is where we're getting towards the end of the match. The meat and potatoes of the match. Really interesting stuff. At this point, the match is already going like 15, 20 minutes. So this is the part where Diesel should be getting tired out. Diesel's like, he's got the advantage, man. He's like really beating him up. He's using the exposed turnbuckle to punish Brett. He's slamming in there, throwing him head first. Brett keeps fighting, though. Brett uses the turnbuckle metal, the exposed metal. Diesel goes to something. Brett blocks it. He hits Diesel. Diesel's down. Brett's starting to build momentum. He's knocking him around. Diesel on the outside. Brett goes to dive, you know, does a little, you know, suicide dive over the top rope. A plancha, actually. He goes over the rope. Diesel moves. Brett just tumbles. Like, he doesn't, like, fall face first. He rolls and smashes. It looked brutal. Brett made it look like it really, truly hurt. So Brett goes around to the other side of the ring. Diesel's back in the ring, selling, you know, the fact that they've been beat up for 20 minutes. Brett starts to climb up. Diesel sees him. Diesel runs. Checks him. Brett just flies. Table just explodes. Like, here's the table. Right? Here's the table. And it just, like, does something like that. The monitors, everything goes flying in the air right back down on Brett. Like, it was a nasty spot. If you haven't watched this match, seriously, go back and watch. Like, for real. But Diesel showed him absolutely no mercy. Diesel's still pounding on him. He hesitates for a second, picks Brett up, rolls him. I don't need my notes anymore. I'm done with my notes. Kind of, you know, messes with him a little bit, gets him in the ring. He's like, yeah, I got this. He's doing Diesel power. Woo, woo, Kevin Nash. He's about to jackknife him. He picks him up. Brett just goes limp when he goes to signal. Brett just kind of falls down. He's just like, ref's checking on him. And Diesel's like, no, we're not doing this. He hesitates, shows just a little bit of sympathy. Goes to pick Brett up. Brett, small package. 1, 2, 3. Brett's your new World Wrestling Federation champion. Woo! Crowd goes nuts. They go crazy, people. Of course, Brett was the big baby face at the time, right? Diesel, he gets up. First thing you see him lip, motherfucker. He gets up, shoves Earl Hebner down. I don't know who all remembers, you know, baby Earl Hebner. Shoves him down, grabs Brett, picks him up, power bomb. Other referees come in to try to calm everything down. He's punching one ref, punching the next ref. Another ref comes in, he checks him in the face. Brett's kind of laying there. He picks Brett back up. Another jackknife powerbomb. And then he's just like, yeah, I'm the man. Hope Brett, he's probably thinking, hope the title was worth it, Brett. He gets out of the ring. The crowd's cheering him. You know, kind of mixed reactions, but he's got quite a bit of cheers, right? So he's getting out, he's slapping hands, like, yeah, man, because he's not fully healed yet. He doesn't become a full heel till later on, because he kind of apologizes, which leads to his eventual full heel turn, which leads to him facing The Undertaker, which eventually leads to the curtain call. We'll cover that in a different time, different point in time. But Brett, he's stuck laying there. Vince is all, oh, this crowd's booing him. We gotta go. That was it. They ended it. They're like, cut feed. People cheering him. But that was WWE Survivor Series. I don't know. I got a little animated there at the end. It was pretty mundane through the rest of the show, where I'm just kind of reading off what was happening. And I was looking like this, and back, like this, and back. I love what I'm doing. But my brain sucks anymore. I've got to, this, I had to memorize it. I had to write everything down. I wanted to make sure I hit every single point. Once I have a monitor up here, it'll be a lot easier to do this. I can just look at my monitor, read my notes, and I'll be good. You know what I mean? Take a picture, upload it. There's my notes. Just scroll through. Anyways, for what was a mediocre time in the WWE, this show stood out. Was it the best show? No, it wasn't. But it was a good show that I actually enjoyed watching. I didn't feel like shutting it off and going back and then coming back to it. And I was able to get through this thing in one shot. And it was, like I said, a really good show. I enjoyed it. Okay? If I'm going to score it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it like a 7. This was a super good show. It had its flaws. The Bam Bam Bigelow match with Goldust didn't need it. The Marty Jannetty, Body Donnas versus the Underdogs match kind of was, It wasn't that great. And honestly, and I hate saying this because I think the women, especially nowadays, deserve a shot. You really didn't need that women's match. You didn't. Could have gave a little bit more time to another one of the other Survivor Series matches, maybe. I don't really know. But there was just a couple things. But it was a good show. All the matches were solid with the exception of Bigelow and Goldust. They fit everyone on the card. I love seeing Undertaker back in his old stuff when Undertaker was still awesome. So I like this show. So like I said, I'm Zach. You can find us on every bit of our social media platforms. You can find us any way you need to help us support us. We have StreamLabs, so you can go to Discord, chat with us there. You can find us on Twitter. Follow us, YoBroGaming1. Everything's down in the description. And if you're new to this channel, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Like the button. Stick it up my butt. Do it like this. I might like it. A little bit. JD's going to think I'm gay even more. Survivor Series is this weekend, guys. Tomorrow night we'll be uploading our preview and our predictions for both War Games and Survivor Series. Saturday, NXT War Games. We'll be live streaming our reactions and doing a live stream for our review. Same thing Sunday for Survivor Series. We'll be doing both live. It's going to be a fun weekend. Seriously, guys, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, we're growing. Add us, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like these videos. It circulates us, gets us out there. If you don't want to donate or buy shirts, hit the like button. That's all I'll ask you to do. It's the only thing I find as a requirement. Hit the like button if you watched the video. If you didn't like it, well, then hit the dislike button. That's cool too. Gets people to notice us as well. So, I'm Zach with the Yo Bro Gaming and Reviews channel. You can go check out our Yo Bro Podcast Network. We got content on there too. We got a Supernatural and a Daredevil review on that channel. Get to it, people. Watch it. We got old Squared Circle stuff. New episodes of Squared Circle coming soon. More Supernatural Arrow reviews. Other videos we're popping up on that channel. If you don't want to listen to us talk, you can go there and just, you don't have to look at us. You can just hear our voice. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch this face. I'm just saying. So, I'm Zach. Thank you guys so very much. Y'all have an awesome day. Yo, bros, and peace out.